Hello and welcome back to Ravenwood Acres. Today is part 7 of our emergency communication series. We're going to talk licensed communication, or ham, amateur radio, whatever you know it as. In this video, primarily focusing in on the privileges you would have under a technician's class license. But before we get too much into that, hey, if you're enjoying this series or anything else we're creating over here at Ravenwood Acres, we'd really appreciate you subscribe to the channel, give it that thumbs up, check us out on other social media links, and don't forget to check out our new website, theravenwoodacres.com, linked in the video. All right. I did debate a little bit on whether or not I should do this because there are so many great ham radio channels on YouTube that the YouTubers over there are definitely know way more than I do. They've had their licenses for decades. They're super smart. However, we're mainly talking on the plan side. We're not going to get too much into the details of the actual ham. Additionally, there's just no way I could talk emergency communications without talking about ham. It's impossible. They go hand in hand. I know some people are reluctant to even consider it due to like cost, or they think it's too technical for them. And there is some of that. But I've seen lots of people that have no technical background at all, don't know anything, get their licenses. So kids get their licenses. My goodness, it's not as I think people make it out to be much more complicated than it is, and it's really not. It's just something they don't know, so they just. However, I'm gonna repeat myself here. If you don't have your plan, and you can use the PACE template or the primary, alternate, contingency, emergency that I talked about, or your own. I don't care. Have a plan. What is your plan going to consist, or how do you even start your plan? Who are you trying to talk to, and how far away are they from you, or how far could they potentially be? We're not talking super hypotheticals like I'm on vacation in Florida and I need to talk to Washington State. In your normal everyday life, what is your most common scenario that you're trying to, or problem you're trying to solve in an emergency situation, right? All right, so your technician class license, most people associate, when they talk about it, you'll hear them talk about 2 meter and 77 meter, which are bands. 2 meter being VHF, very high frequency, 77 meter being ultra high frequency, UHF. Most of the radios you'll find off the shelf are 2-band radios. There is some tri-bands coming out that have 1.25 or 220, as some people call it, which is also a VHF frequency. Key here is, and what some of the things we're going to be talking about here is, just like with your cell phone, when there's a disaster, even if the towers have not been destroyed, infrastructure is still in place, power's still on, whatever, everyone's going to get on here trying to make phone calls or send messages out to, get in touch with people to see if they're okay, right? Radio waves are going to be the same way. Licensed and unlicensed people are probably going to be trying to talk on there. Don't do it unless the emergency is your emergency, meaning you're in trouble and you have no other way to communicate with emergency services. Okay, my disclaimer there. So those are all great. 10 meters is the ARRL band chart I have here in the video. We'll show you. There's a bunch we're not going to talk about, but this is just a general overview. It is actually HF. This is one where you can actually talk on voice, right? All the other HF is only CW, which is constant wave or Morse code, as most people know it. We'll talk why CW might be something you should consider, and no, you don't have to actually learn Morse code. There's a cheat. I know old timers are probably like, no, but hey, we're talking about emergency communications here, and all options should be available to you if you so choose. You can see there's a max wattage, and we won't get into that. But so the problem with 10 meter though is the band is considered closed a lot of times this year, and no, there's not someone flipping a switch. The solar conditions are not conducive for over horizon communications, or effective over horizon communications, meaning long range, right? Therefore, it's not very reliable. And when we're talking emergency communications, we kind of want something reliable, right? One other disclaimer, based off of recommendations from old hams to me, I would not recommend, if you do consider trying to play around with 10 meter, don't buy the 10 meter only radio, because you're going to spend several $100s on it, and it's limited to that. Save your money, find an old all band radio and go with that, because then you can utilize it for those other CW ranges, like we're talking 15, 40, and 80 meters. You can send messages on CW. So to talk CW, right, Morse code, and you don't know how to do Morse code or decode it, you can get software now with the computer, right, and get an interface, hook it to your computer, hook it to your radio, type up a message, send it out, comes back, decode the message, and you've now used it. Why is CW more effective? Well, in degraded environments where there's a lot of CRM, a lot of interference or other people on the radio, it's less likely that the message is going to get misinterpreted versus voice. You might catch a few words or mishear words or whatever, because voice is just as a lot harder to when it's degraded, when there's interference, to understand what the person's trying to say. CW works a lot better in that in that world. Then let's see, there's 6 meter, a couple of guys in the Aries group. I'm in an amateur radio emergency services group that serves our local municipality, and we're just volunteers that help out and prepare for emergencies, disasters, basically be able to assist the local city in disaster communication. So a couple of guys that play around 6 meter, I really should get with them and learn more. It is still a VHF one. All right, so let's talk a little bit of the other kind of options you can do, just as I was mentioning. So CW, we already kind of talked. Winlink, which is a software that you can download onto a computer. I think it is only Windows only. It might work on Linux, not sure. Pretty sure it doesn't work with iOS, Apple products. So, but you have an interface. I'll put an image in the video that you hook up to your radio, and you can send basically emails. You can send them direct to somebody else that has a Winlink setup without a repeater or anything else. If obviously if you're within range, which is a lot more private, I would say. I wouldn't say secure, but just private. And you can also send someone that's just a regular person that has an email account. You could send it from your radio to, someone's email that they could look on their phone. So, you can send it to your family members or whatever in an emergency from your radio, that's your mobile setup that's in your car or your vehicle, whatever it is. You got the interface and a tablet, a Windows-based tablet. Pull it up, send message, boom, they get an email. Now that does rely on internet, or there's repeaters too. You can do this in high frequency too, and that means that direct is no longer line of sight. It could be over the horizon, so long range. So that's what I'm talking about, is options here to shore up your plan to give you more of those, contingency and emergency options, right? Sorry, excuse me. DMR, digital mobile radio, does require internet to operate, but not if you're talking just person to person. But if you're trying to talk in a talk group and you don't have a DMR repeater in your area, you can get one of these hotspots. This is the cheaper option, kind of a China option, but basically a little Raspberry Pi hotspot that allows me, even here in South Korea, to connect to a talk group in the Pacific Northwest in the United States. Yes, does require internet. So all kinds of things. That same radio I have, a HT Anytone, has GPS in it, so I can also use APRS, which APRS is Automatic Packet Reporting System, which if internet's up, your family member could go see on there where you are. So you've evacuated or whatever, and they can go on and see where you are, on the map. Yes, it's everyone can see it, so it's not private. So just consider that. All right, so if you found any of this intriguing, you want to learn more, the channel I'm going to recommend to you is Ham Radio Concepts, and he has a video, and I will link this video right here in the video, video, okay. That is, I'm only a technician, if I remember right, is the title. And it's pretty amazing. I learned a lot from the video, way more detail, from a really smart guy. So go check out his video. I'm sure you will learn more. I know I did. So, okay, to kind of close up, let's talk a little bit about the family problem, right? Or what I'll call the family problem, because I hear this all the time, is, hey, what do I do? Because I'm the only one that's willing to get their license. No one else in my family will. I would first try, if you have younger children, right, that are the age that can learn this stuff, 8 and above probably. There might be some younger ones out there, but you might be able to, when they're still in that phase where they love to learn things that dad or mom or whatever is learning, that you might be able to spark that interest, and you'd be surprised. There's a lot of kids out there that have their license. So just consider those. And then the other one is monitoring. You can have a base station set up at your house. Say, hey, if there's ever a disaster, emergency, whatever, and you can't get a hold of me on my phone, turn this on and preset number 1 or whatever. Hit preset number 1 and just listen. And I will send messages in the blind, meaning I'm just going to send out a message saying, hey, this is me. Obviously my call sign, all that good stuff. And I just left work. I'm taking, primary route 1 to get home. Estimated time, 40 minutes, whatever, and then they know. And then, 30 minutes later, you send an update. Hey, 10 minutes out, whatever. And they just listen. You're just sending those messages out in the blind. Winlink, you can send them if you're capable. Internet's up, or you could have a terminal up in your house if you could hit direct, point to point, right? That you could send the message to, and they could check on the terminal. So on the computer. Oh, get creative. That's what this is about. Excuse me. But I hope that you guys found this useful. Let's talk just a little bit. I guess let's talk where, if you're asking yourself, where do I get started? I started at a ham radio club. I didn't join the club. I just went to their 1-week class they put on. I think I paid a small fee. I wanted to learn more, and then just studying flashcards or whatever. And it also exposed me to the community. And as I mentioned there in the beginning, you talk about the jerks. Like I said, they're actually few and far between. They're just loud. So there's some really great people. They taught me so much. I wouldn't do it any other way. Now that I have my technicians, I probably will just do the studying for my general, because I can test with the guys. There's guys in my Aries group that are examiners that can give me the test, and they can also help answer any questions prior to that, because they're guys have been at it for decades. So learn a lot from them. That's another avenue I would say, is once you do get your license, join a group, join a club, join an Aries team. You're going to learn a lot. And that will help you practice, because it's part of the, especially in Aries, you have to practice. We practice once a week. We meet every Monday. Now, I'm obviously not there right now, so I can't, but I'm still a member of the group. I'm just on hiatus, and I'll be back here later this summer. So anyways, I hope you guys found this all useful. Part 8 will be probably delayed, so it won't be next week. It's looking like the items that I need to complete this future of emergency communications video will be mid-May. It sucks. I don't want to wait that long, but I don't want to do the video without, I know a lot about them. I've watched a lot of videos. I've read a lot about. I'll give you a hint, Meshtastic, if you want to look that up. I think it has some pretty awesome capabilities, especially for those of us in this community. So stay tuned for that, and have a great day.